You open the marketplace, you see talent mergers for hundreds or even thousands of ancient coins, and you think, okay, there must be something big behind this. So I finally tested it properly. I crafted overclocked tier 3 artifacts, rerolled talents, extracted them, and tracked the real costs. In this video, I'll show you what the investment actually looked like, what makes talents valuable, and why this method can be profit or loss depending on a few key factors. Let's start at the beginning. In Corepunk there is a system that lets you upgrade your passive talents. Talents come in many types. Some increase healing, some increase damage, some extend buff duration, and other boost movement speed for you and your group. Each talent has 5 levels. Level 1 is unlocked when you take the talent. Levels from 2 to 5 come from talent upgrades that you insert or roll inside your artifacts. That's all you need for now. If you want the full breakdown of how the system works, I already have a dedicated video about the mechanics. You'll find the link in the description. Now, if you open the marketplace and search for talent merger, you'll often see prices in the hundreds or even thousands of ancient coins, and honestly, that makes perfect sense. To extract a valuable talent, you need to first craft a tier 3 overclocked artifact, second, spend resources to reroll until you hit something valuable, third, obtain additional materials to craft the item that actually extracts the talent. So before you make a single coin of profit, you already invest in a lot of materials and ancient coins. That's why the prices are so high. That brings me to an important point. This is not something you can start doing at level 1. If you want ways to make profit earlier, I have another video on the channel that work right after you begin playing. Before we get into the actual process, there are 3 basics you need to understand. First, to make money by extracting and selling passive talents, you need max level progression, a solid stock of crafting resources, ancient coins to spend before you see profit. Even if you have gathered a lot of materials by playing, there will almost always be something missing, which means you will still end up buying part of the requirements from the marketplace. Second, you must understand which talents are available in the current meta. If you do not already know that, you need a reliable way to learn it, because guessing will burn your resources fast. Third, when a player inserts a talent into an artifact, they cannot undo it. They either keep playing with that artifact, or if they want different talents, they discard the artifact and start the whole process again. Because of that, people mostly buy talents they consider a long-term investment. Here is the tier list for the current meta at the moment I'm making this video. By the time you're watching, the meta may become completely different. Also, huge thanks to the people who helped me put this tiered list together and explain which talents are available across different classes, builds, and situations. Tier S. These are must-have talents. Many builds consider them mandatory, and sometimes players will spend almost all their money to get one. Often you won't even see them on the market, but if you do, prices can be 800, 1500, 2k and higher. If you list an S tier talent for 2k, it won't always sell instantly, but if someone needs it, they'll pay whatever it takes. Tier A. Strong talents that are usually upgraded after S tier talents are already done. Tier B. Good talents, but usually very situational. Let me explain why the tiers looks like this. S tier stacking strength is amazing. You use 3 foods and 2 alchemy consumables and your damage increases by 20%. Simple, universal, and every DPS appreciates it. S tier harmonic trade-off is basically mandatory in many healing builds. A tier focused assault can boost damage up to 45% against a target, but only under specific conditions. Because it's conditional, players often choose something more consistent first. A tier Giant Slayer is great for PvE damage, but useless in PvP. A tier Iron Will is the opposite, great in PvP, less valuable in PvE. B tier Emergency Wind is a great way if you want shorter cooldowns, but cooldown reduction loses value if your opponent just stacks damage and deletes you before you can cycle skills. B tier Amplifying Weakness can boost your team, but why take it if 2 stronger S tier talents exist? Alright, those are the fundamentals. This system isn't trivial, and I think this context is required if you want to talk about profit realistically. Now let's get into the method. The profit process has 3 stages. First, Crafting tier 3 overclocked artifacts. 2. Rerolling talents. 3. Extracting the talent and selling it. In stage 1, we'll craft OC tier 3 artifacts. To put it simply, crafting any gear piece became much harder than it was just a month ago. Right now, you need a recipe for every type of craft. We'll leave the is this change good or bad discussion for another video. For us, it means one thing: more resources and more ancient coins spent during the process, and therefore lower profit margins. A recent change also added a second way to obtain an overclocked artifact. Before, the main path was upgrading tier 2 artifacts to epic and using them as materials to craft OC tier 3. Yes, you can fuse 5 upgraded artifacts into one OC tier 3, but let's be honest. Now we can also get OC tier 3 by using overclocked tier 2 artifacts of uncommon quality. This makes the path cheaper, because you upgrade tier 1 artifact to epic instead of tier 2. At the time I'm recording, you can clearly see how expensive the tier 2 epic upgrade kit is, compared to the tier 1 path. Also, the specific artifact does not matter much, because we plan to destroy it after we extract the talent, so you should focus on artifacts that are cheapest to craft, or artifact you already have materials for in your bank. I'll use Steam Win as an example. First, I crafted the necessary tier 1 artifacts if I didn't already have them. Then I upgraded them to epic using the synthesis machine. Next, I obtained tier 2 recipes and materials and crafted tier 2 OC artifacts using those epic tier 1s. Then I upgraded my tier 2 to uncommon. Finally, I synthesized them together with tier 3 materials according to the recipe. And yes, don't forget, you still need the recipe. In the end, we get an OC tier 3 artifact with random talents inside. I already had some materials and bought only a few things from the marketplace, but if I bought everything and crafted from scratch, this specific craft would cost me about 584 ancient coins. In stage 2, we'll reroll talents. Here we mainly need synthesis fuel and reforged recalibrators. In my test, it took me 3 rerolls to get my first S tier talent, Empowering Presence. Regarding cost, at the time of recording, 3 synthesis fuel, about 20 ancient coins total. Reforged recalibrators, about 18 ancient coins each on average. In stage 3, we'll extract talents. For extraction, we need to craft 2 talent fragmenters. That requires expensive materials like concentrated mana and dragon shell. It also requires a Grandmaster catalyst, which is not tradable and you have to grind it. The good news is, it's not that hard. Just do PvE boss arenas and you'll get it. In my test, the 2 talent fragmenters cost me about 436 ancient coins. Then we use the synthesis machine to dismantle the artifact and extract the talents, and after that we can list it on the marketplace. Let's look at the numbers. I did not calculate every single marketplace purchase precisely, but I already own most materials. But if someone had to buy everything on the marketplace, I estimate the cost per run at about 1094 ancient coins. To properly test the profit potential, I crafted 10 artifacts. Across these 10 artifacts, I used 52 reforged recalibrators. Sometimes it took 3 rerolls, sometimes it took 10. From scratch, crafting 10 OC artifacts and crafting talents cost me approximately 11,700 ancient coins. Here are the talents I got. If we use the top price range of their tiers, the total value would be about 7,800 ancient coins, before marketplace fees, which results in a negative balance of around 3,900 ancient coins. But if it were that simple, I wouldn't make this video. In reality, I didn't spend anywhere near 11k out of pocket. I used materials I gathered just by playing, and I estimate I spent less than 2k ancient coins on missing materials. That turns the result into a potential profit of 5k plus ancient coins. Let's summarize. In my calculations, I used 800 as a baseline for S tier. Some talents may not sell much higher, but talents like Piercing Onslaught, Duration Enhancement System or Stacking Strength can go much higher, which can massively increase your profit. Second point, if you obtain even part of the recipes naturally through gameplay, you can drastically reduce the amount of ancient coins you need to invest. The same goes for tier 3 materials, especially concentrated mana and also reforged recalibrators. If you can farm those and only buy the rest, the cost of the whole process can drop to around 232 ancient coins instead of 1k plus. You might ask, why do all of this? Why not just sell the materials on the marketplace? And yes, you can. But there are 3 reasons this method can still be worth it. First, marketplace slot efficiency. We only have 20 active marketplace slots. Selling one high value talent is a great way to convert lots of resources without using many slots. 2. You need this process for your build anyway. At some point you will do this to improve your own character, and obviously you won't need every valuable talent hero, so you can keep what you need and sell the rest to cover part of your costs. 3. Bank space management. Sooner or later your bank will fill up with materials and random items. You can clean it manually, selling or throwing things away, or you can recycle materials by crafting all Tier 3 artifacts and rolling talents, turning clutter into something you can sell. A lot can change in the future regarding this process. Concentrated mana may be replaced as a material for crafting talent fragmenters. Crafting itself may change. Some materials may become easier or harder to farm. All of this can influence the cost of the process. For now, this is a strong way to make profit, but it's not for everyone. It requires a lot of materials, a lot of time, meta knowledge. Even if you're not planning to do this for profit, I hope you enjoy these 10 minutes with me. After covering most Corepunk basics, I wanted to make another video focused on profits, because that's the kind of content many MMORPG players find valuable. This is already the first video like this on my channel, and I'll keep testing other methods too. If you want to follow the experiments live, drop by my Twitch sometime. And if this video helped you, like and subscribe so more people can find it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.